It was a flood of biblical proportion in its fury and impact on Alberta. And today we find out what a biblical response to disaster looks like. Summer flooding left High River with 1,000 homes and businesses destroyed or badly damaged, a part of the billions of dollars in damages province-wide. Locals say it took 100 years to build the town, 2 days to destroy it, and 10 days to get it back on its feet. We'll find out why the remarkable town of High River could come back in fighting form, and what ingredients make it home to some of the most determined Canadians we've ever met. We go on the road to learn from High River, Alberta. This is Context, a look at life beyond the headlines.
Fast were the floodwaters that in less than 9 hours, 60% of High River, Alberta was underwater. The Highwood River plowed through its banks with such ferocity this summer that officials there now call it a tsunami. Only 4 perished in the flood, but its impact has been life-changing for thousands. The lessons of High River are instructive for us all. It may appear that all is well with the Adolf family, but like nearly everyone in their town, a troubled story is not far away.
Our misery started today, but our roads did not go the same way.
In 3 weeks, High River hauled away 10 years' worth of garbage to the city dump. Loss of property is a collective burden shared by families gathered here. Their determination merited national honor for their flood response from Canada's Governor General.
Our hearts broke at the same time.
Thank you! The Adolfs have been the Context TV family we knew from their travels of folk singing across Canada. Finally, they had settled into their first purchased home on June 1. 20 days later, it would be hit by flood.
We woke up that morning and Carla had seen that there was a state emergency in High River. And so I just finished my fireman training, so I thought I'll just go in. They told me to suit up, and I spent 21 hours that day. Just started off with just kind of a couple regular calls, and then like 20 hours of flood work.
So Hudson and I were in the motorhome, and we were just hanging out. It was raining, but you know, whatever. We bought this house because we were told it has never flooded in this neighborhood.
But by 10 a.m. that morning, Carla was looking for help.
And that's when I was like, oh, this is not normal. And by the time I came back, it was 10 minutes. There was water raging down our street, and I tried to get the RV, all the slide outs in, and tried to get the RV out, and I couldn't. And a man from ATCO came in and grabbed my son and said, run. So I grabbed my guitar and my dog and my purse and a box of our files and ran knee deep, and my son was just so traumatized, he was screaming. And it was a fast, problematic water. It wasn't like, oh, you know.
It wasn't like a river overflowing. It was like
water.
Like a
wave.
It was more like a wave.
It's now a flood with levels for the history books. Former mayor and longtime resident Les Rempel was tasked with managing human impact.
The typical flood would have been just a range about this wide. So now it's spread out to the full width of the town. Some of the flow would always have gone to the south, but most of it would go up through the regular channel. This portion here was a complete surprise. That had not happened in recent history or in recent memory. Some of the old timers talk about remembering water in this area here, but that would have been 60 to 80 years ago.
And give us an idea of the numbers affected now in these.
Well, overall, there's about 5,000 homes. Of that, about 4,000 homes were affected.
High River has 5,000 homes and 4,000 of them were flooded?
Right.
Part of the amazing thing of the basement and the whole situation is that if the water would have been an inch higher, we would have not been covered by any insurance or anything because it would have hit the floor joist.
You wrote on your last blog that you've had to trust that God will give you wisdom for decisions. Give me an idea of the complexity it has been to recover this house.
Well, I think the first thing that you have to remember is if it was just us that had been hit, or just 10 homes that had been hit, everything would have progressed at a speed that would have been much more reasonable for your expectations. But when you're dealing with a whole entire town and all of the businesses, services, and homes, then you have to be patient. You have to be patient. And you have to trust that things like money and where you're going to live and how you're going to fix your house, it's better to handle those things in a state of patience and trusting than in a state of striving. And we are like the opposite. I would be like, let's just do it. And Gary's the patient, wise, thinking it through part of our relationship. So you can't expect one thing to solve all your question, answer all your questions or solve all your problems. You can't expect the government to be there completely for you, or your insurance, or even your family and friends. You have to sort of just be patient and then really ask appropriately for the proper avenues to help you.
Recovery means navigating an evolving and complex reality of new definitions. Some said it was like High River residents had to build an airplane while it was flying, structure needing to be built while jobs and shelter needed to be cared for. Houses were color-coded by water levels. Many are still in limbo on insurance, government help, or no aid. Home and business owners are straining under the waiting. A recovering business district has been recreated in temporary structure.
Well, there's going to be a vacation, an economic vacation for probably 2 or 3 months just before they can get back in, never mind the expense of rebuilding. So the ability to function for many of the businesses here stopped, and they lost inventory. So for some of the small businesses, it'll be very difficult to start again.
I am hearing the cracks beneath me.
Wallace-ville is one of those areas that has been damaged so extensively that some of the people are past the point of being able to rebuild.
The federally funded disaster recovery program and provincial recovery funds will deliver millions for rebuilding. Mobile homeowners are eligible for $65 a square foot. Farmers receive funding for corrals and contaminated water, and the list is endlessly complex. It's the 5th time Les's own home has suffered flood damage, but now he, like other High River residents, is facing the fight of his life. In what makes no sense to him, the province issued an order that his home is to be bought out and torn down. A home builder by profession, he plans to fight to stay.
In the midst of a rebuilding of the community, to take a group of people and just say simply, your houses are in a designation that wasn't damaged, but it's a designation that's considered the wrong place to be, we're going to move you out. I think that's a hurtful thing to do to a community. I think in many ways this is like taking a part of the limb of the community, one of the pieces of the community, and saying, we don't need you anymore. We're going to displace you. And to me, that's a sad thing. Every part of a community is needed. And if we start to lose pieces, we lose part of our body. And that's a sad thing.
When we return, one of High River's most famous faces leverages her celebrity status for the town, which itself plays a starring role in her hit TV series.
It's just beautiful how he moves. He's amazing to watch.
At the break of day.